Hi everyone. So welcome to today's class. So as we have promised, like we are starting a series on SAP implementation process, or basically this is a rise with SAP S4 HANA process is there. So we have already discussed an overview, or we can say process. What are the process are there in SAP S4 HANA? We have already discussed it. So if you want to see that, you can click on the info button and you can find the video over there. So as promised, so we are starting this series where we will be discussing about the rise with S4 HANA with all of its sections or components, or you can say with each of it functionality. Okay, so we will be starting with the discover phase. In the discover phase, there is a rise with SAP adoption framework is there. So what is that? So today we will be discussing the details on it. Okay, so we will be discussing about the what is this adoption framework and what are the components and what is the requirement of this one. So everything we will be discussing it today. So we will be continuing this till this all the process ends. We will be discussing everything like from the discover phase to run phase. So everything we will be discussing in step by step process. What are the steps are there? What are mentioned in the steps? So we will be discussing everything. Okay. So one request to all of you who have not yet subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe because there is very less count who are watching these videos and they are not subscribing. So please do subscribe. It will be helpful and it will be motivating me to keep or to upload more content like this, which will be helpful for you and for people like you or guys like you. It will be helpful for learning SAP and knowing about the SAP, what is in the SAP, it will be very helpful. Okay, so if you find it helpful, please do like the video and please do subscribe the channel. So let us start. So Rise with S4 HANA is basically it is a solution. It is designed to help the companies to transition the intelligent enterprise model. So what is an intelligent enterprise model? So basically intelligent means when you decide on the basis of, let's say, um, on the basis of your transactions, on basis of your let's say backdated backdated data. So whenever you are working on that one, so basically your intelligent enterprise model, we will discuss it on some other time because it is having a like there are three four concepts to it, why we are calling it as an enterprise intelligent enterprise model and what is the difference between the other models and this model. So we will be discussing about that in some class. So basically this we call as a intelligent enterprise model because normally the concept is the enterprise model, it should sustain the market, like market changes and all, it should sustain that one. Okay, because during the COVID time we all have seen most of the or some of the enterprise they collapsed due to the changeability, like whatever changes happened they are not able to adapt those kind of thing, so they collapse. So to reduce those kind of situation, there is a intelligent enterprise model is there. Okay, so we will be discussing in a separate class on a intelligent enterprise model. What is this intelligent enterprise model? Okay, so but how you can get most of the benefit from this rise with S4 HANA or rise with SAP, how you can get the most benefit of it? So you need to understand the adoption framework. So adoption framework is nothing but how you are going to adopt the SAP into your company or your client. Let's say how you are going to adopt the framework so that SAP will work very efficiently for you, and you can manage most of the SAP from like you can use most of the SAP, and it will be benefiting your organization. So that is called maximum value, or you can say a maximum we can say output from SAP you can take if you are going to understand the adoption framework, and you are going to implement the SAP, or you are going to run the SAP on the SAP adoption framework. Okay, so we need to understand what is the adoption framework, how we are going to adopt the SAP. So basically, this is a let's say this will be a manager kind of thing. So senior most people, these people will be dealing with this phase, and this activity will be done by them, so that they will be able to explain them based on their, let's say, some of the process, how they can adopt SAP, why, what are the pain points they are having. Pain points means where they are having the difficulties in current ERP, or let's say they have a ERP, old ERP or no ERP. So where they are facing some of the challenges, and taking that challenge into their mind, they will be saying, okay, in SAP we have this thing, it will be helpful for you. Let's say, let's assume for a scenario, let's say automatic purchase order. In SAP, we are having a automatic purchase order, right? So let's say they are creating manually a purchase order day by day, which they are facing some of the challenges, like huge manpower will be required. Let's say a company which is creating, let's say, thousands of purchase order on a daily basis. Okay, so there will be, let's say, manual processes happening. Okay, so now what will happen? A lot of manpower will be required, and there will be, whenever you are someone is creating the purchase order, so they might be entering some wrong data. So again, the data verification needs to be done. Then there will be approval process will be there. So a lot of things will be there. Okay, let's say if someone is explaining in SAP we are having an automatic purchase order. So purchase order can be generated automatically. If you have a purchase requisition, it can be generated automatically. Okay, so don't have to convert the purchase requisition into purchase order, or you don't have to do it manually. System will automatically convert. Okay, so these kind of things you can just explain. This is just a example. Don't take it like these kind of things will be shown in this adoption framework, but there will be some higher level of concept will be explained. I'm just explaining you as per your understanding. Okay, how you understand, and what you need to understand. Okay, so basically your rise with SAP adoption framework is consisting of some key elements. So we will be understanding the key elements right now. So first thing is a business case development. So what is a business case development? I have already told you. Okay, the example which I have given you, it is a business case development. So first step, you need to understand the business. Okay, then you need to understand rise with SAP. Then you will be involving organization's pain point, like I have explained right now. So there will be, let's say, a lot of other things will be there which can be explained. I have gone into the, let's say, some of the detailed manner, but in this, maybe let's say we are getting some of the point, like where they are facing some of the challenge. Let's say they are getting the challenges in keeping the stock, or receiving the stock, or let's say they're unable to find what are the open purchase orders are there, what are open orders are there. They're having difficulty in their, let's say, audit process. So maybe you need to understand whoever is going to, let's say, for the first phase, for the discover phase, when someone is going to someone has purchased a SAP, let's say, license, or they want to change their business to SAP. Now you suggest that you need to change to SAP. Now they will be purchasing a SAP, let's say they will be purchasing what you call memberships, or they will be taking the memberships from the SAP. Okay, now you need to understand their business. Now you need to understand their pain point. Now you have to tell them how SAP can solve them. Okay, so you have to tell them how SAP can solve them, how it will be a business benefit if they are taking the SAP. So you need to tell them, you need to explain them. So this is a business case. So you have to develop some of the business case. You have to explain like you have this process, you can manage it in SAP, you have this inventory process, now you are managing like this, now you are facing these problems. You can remove or you can eliminate those problems with Rise with SAP. So that is a business case development. Next one is planning and preparation. Now you have told them like, okay, SAP will solve your problem, but how SAP will solve your problem? First, you need to implement the SAP, right? So to implement the SAP, first you need to do a planning and preparation. So what should be the planning and preparation? Let's say who should be there from the client side, who understand the process, who will be the let's say spokesperson. Okay, so person who is responsible to tell something or give some information. Okay, so they might be there the spoke. Okay, so point of contact, basically they're called as a point of contact. Okay, so basically those will be identified from the um, let's say client side, and those will be identified from the customer, let's say IT company side. So they will be taking an understanding like, okay, so we are having this much of team from the IT team, like core IT team. Okay, from the company we are having this, and then we will be having a team from our IT team member. So what should be the IT infrastructure will be needed? What should be your project scope? How many modules will be needed? And how much team will be needed? How much timeline will be needed? So everything will be decided now. Now till how much time you should complete it. Okay, so that will be also a part of your adoption framework. Let's say you are saying we are going to implement the SAP, but we are implementing it by 2030. Okay, so that will be not feasible, and that will be very like for business it will not be feasible, right? So whenever you are saying like, okay, we are going to start your SAP or we are going to implement the SAP, so you should be able to implement the SAP as soon as possible. So you need to define everything in order to achieve that one. Let's say you are going with phase by phase, you are going by rollout. Let's say most of the businesses, they are right now they are adapting like a global template and a page wise rollout. Okay, so what is that? Might be we will be looking into it in a separate video. Maybe we will be understanding that why they are going for global template and why they are going for phase wise rollout. Okay, so basically planning and preparation in this, basically you need to understand how the planning needs to be done, how the preparation needs to be done, what should be scope of items from the client side, what will be the scope of item from the IT side. So everything you have to understand, like you have to explain it to the clients, and you need to have a understanding on that one. Okay, so now next one is, so here it is coming for the timelines and responsibility, everything will be coming to the planning and preparation. Okay, so now you need to understand that one. Next one is technical migration. So whenever it has come to technical migration, you need to tell them like this is also like whatever data will be migrated. Okay, so you need to understand what kind of data will be there in SAP S4 HANA. For that one, what kind of existing data will be needed if you are going to upload it, or you are going to migrate the data from the existing system to the new system. Okay, so if you are going with the data migration module, okay, data migration model. Okay, if you are going with that one, so you need to understand how the data will be transferred from one system to another system, how their existing data will be transferred. So everything need to be explained point of the technical migration, or let's say data migration point of view, it will be explained to them. Okay, now change management. Okay, so let's say what is a change management. We have already discussed the change management in some classes. So basically after the standard process is there, so every business is different, so every business cannot adopt everything from the standard. What SAP suggests, they cannot do, or they cannot go with the standard process for every each and every process or functionality, they cannot go with standard. So now they might have some challenges, or they might have some critical functions which needs to be addressed or which needs to be configured, and it is not there in SAP standard functionality. Now this will be coming to your change management part. Okay, so there, in there it will be called as a fit gap analysis. Okay, so basically in that, let's say in this phase itself or in this functionality itself, okay, adoption, there you have to explain this, like if this process, or maybe they explain there some processes and you understand that there will be some change process will be there, so you need to explain them that everything will not be possible, or if you are going to use all the standard process, then it is okay, it is fine. But if you want to take something, let's say any of the example, okay, any of the example, let's say they are having a procurement process which is not available, or let's say they are having a let's say process, or let's say they are using a process which is not available in the um, existing SAP standard. Okay, so you can use that, or you can, and you have to configure that one. Okay, those kind of processes, you can explain those kind of things, and they need to understand, okay, if we need something which is not available in the SAP standard, so we need to go for a change management, or we need to go for a fit gap analysis. Okay, then it comes to the continuous improvement. So continuous improvement is basically whenever your SAP is running, at that point of time you will be having a continuous improvement, means day by day when you face some of the challenges, or you think that okay, this thing need to be modified, this is not helping us, or this needs to be modified for this needs to be modified for us, so that we will be using it effectively. So that is called basically continuous improvement. So once the SAP is running, after that you can go with continuous improvement. Okay, so you can get some feedback, you can get some how the process are running, you can see how the adjustments are done, you can see how the jobs are running, so you can see some of the things over there, and you can do the continuous improvement over there. Okay, so in the adoption framework, basically you have to understand these kind of things. You means your client. Okay, your client needs to understand this process, so that they will be familiarized with the SAP, let's say scope, planning and all, and they need to understand what is coming in their way, so how they can be getting prepared, how they can suggest, how they can adopt the process, so this will be helpful for them. Okay, and due to, let's say, every organization has their different set of work procedure, different set of, let's say, working methodology. So these adoption framework might change, or maybe it is a flexible kind of thing. So it will be change for every other, let's say, industry to industry, it can vary. Okay, and of course, if we are not having anything in the standard process, we will go for the change management, or we will go for the fit gap analysis, and we will be creating some of the changes for that one. Okay, but first you need to understand this, first you need to adopt this, so that your migration process or your implementation process will be a success, and it will be implemented successfully. Okay, so that's all about today's class. So today we have discussed about the first let's say first topic of discover phase. Then we will be discussing about what is a cloud trial, okay, in the next class. So maybe we will be keeping up like couple of classes per week for this one, or you can suggest me how you want to take this forward. Okay, so a couple of classes per week, or weekly one class, or weekly 2 or 3 classes, so you just suggest me. Okay, just comment down in the comment sections, it will be helpful for me also drafting the classes for you. Okay, so we will be meeting up again in the next class. So till then, bye bye and take care and Jai Hind.